this is Justin Branham for MasterFiddle.com, and in this lesson we're going to learn the Soli and shout chorus for a tune I wrote called Blues for E and E. And if you haven't listened to that, you might want to listen to the section we're going to learn today before we start this, because it's got two fiddles, and so there's parts that work together you're going to want to have in your ears before you start this section. Right after that is the solo section for just one fiddle, and I have a separate lesson for that. This one's going to have some licks in it too that you can use for soloing, but I wrote it as an ensemble section for two fiddles. So our first phrase has four parts going on with two fiddles, and it sounds like this. It kind of sounds weird by itself. So let me teach that to you first, and then I'll teach you the second part and what's happening. We've got our first finger on the A and E strings getting a B and an F sharp, and we're going to do two down bows. Kind of a Batman type rhythm, if you know the old Batman theme song. Batman. And then we're going to do this. So that's just moving those same fifths up. We're going to have different fingerings though. We're going to have a second finger on a C and a G note on the A and E string. So I'm putting that finger right in the middle of those two strings to get that fifth. So it's down, up, up. Then move that finger up a half step to a G sharp and C sharp. Same rhythm, down, up, up. And then our last one is that same rhythm that we started with a third finger getting a fifth on the E string and A string. That's an A note on the E string, D note on the A string, with the third finger right in the middle of those two strings so that I can get both of them with one finger. And then the next one, we can either jump up in the second position to get this fifth, it's also a fifth, or we can use the fourth finger. It's kind of your choice, and I do it both ways. I'll do it with the fourth finger now just to keep us from shifting, and I'm going to play another fifth, a B note on the E string with my fourth finger, and an E note on the A string with my fourth finger. It's a little hard to get that one. When it's faster, it's okay, but if I were playing that slower, I'd probably want to shift up and use my third finger, just so I have a thicker finger to grab that fifth and make sure the tone is good on that. So that's the first line. That's two parts. And then we're going to do this on the bottom voice in the second fiddle part. We're going to play. And so for that, we've got more fifths. First finger is on the G and D strings, getting an A note and an E note. And this just follows the same rhythm. We're going to play that again for the next chord because it actually fits both chords. And I'll explain this in just a minute, what's happening here. We're going to go same rhythm, down, up, up. Then go to the second finger, getting a B flat and an F on the G and D strings. And then move that second finger up another half step to get a B natural and an F sharp. And then our last one that goes with the B and E note on the A and E strings is going to be a C natural and an F sharp. So the C natural is with the third finger on the G string, low third finger. F sharp is second finger on the D string. That sounds like D7. So what is happening there, and why does that work? Basically what I'm doing is something called planing, and so I've picked a chord which is D6. D6 has the notes D, F sharp, A, and B. Nice jazzy kind of swing type chord. And I've actually, occasionally I'm using the ninth of the chord instead of the root. The very first voicing has that. And I'm just moving that around in half steps. So the first time I'm actually playing a voicing for D6-9 because I've got the ninth in there instead of the root. So this. But then when I move this up, that's basically a C chord on the first change there. C6, and then C sharp or D flat 6 for the next one, and then back to D6, a different voicing though. So I play one voicing for a D chord, a certain type of D chord, and then I just move that down a whole step and move it back up to D6. So I'm playing the same chord, just kind of moving it in half steps, and a lot of people will call that planing, where you take one chord and just kind of move it around in different intervals. I'm not changing the chord type. I'm playing the same chord, but I'm moving it down a half step, or a whole step rather, to C, then up to C sharp, and then up to D. And that makes it sound interesting. Just gives us some chromaticism. like what we would expect from single lines in this style. It's just kind of a swing jazz type style. And then the last chord voicing is a dominant 7th chord. You get that C note down in the bottom, and that's our transition chord. Now, what else is happening here besides that? Well, I've got drop 2, drop 4 voicings, and that means that I have taken a chord and stacked it up.